we've got to pick up a little bit more on the whole Ronda Rousey and Holly Holm thing because, of course, if you haven't been living under a rock, you already know that Ronda Rousey was defeated last Saturday. And but I tell you what, the big thing that's really taken place this past week is, I got to tell you, I'm surprised at the amount of people that have just completely dogged her and, you know, made it out like she was, like all of a sudden she's some spare that, you know, man, it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, bandwagon hopping or what's the deal with that? I mean, is it casual fans? I mean, even Lady Gaga got in on it a little bit. Crazy.
Lady Gaga. What's she doing anyway? Who cares about Lady Gaga? Does anybody even still listen to her music? Listen, I don't know what everybody's problem is, but you know that's the way it is. And if you live in the great state that we are, you will find that there are a lot of bandwagon fans when it comes to any type of sport. So, you know, I remember some years back, you know, the Chicago Blackhawks, you know, winning the Stanley Cup, and the next time I went to a Dallas Stars game and the Blackhawks came to town, everybody was wearing a Blackhawks jersey. So, you know, it's the tide does turn pretty easily around here, but it looks like it's turning everywhere, and I don't get that, man. You know, make the walk, right, is all I got to say. You know, she makes the walk. She gets out there. She does it. Yeah, she got exposed, but that's how belts change hands. Somebody gets exposed. That's just the way it is. That's the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I mean, look, it was going to happen one way or the other. Or I wouldn't say one way or the other. It was going to happen sooner or later. Either someone better than her, like what happened on Saturday, or at least someone that's a better striker than her, most certainly caught up to her, or time was going to catch up to her, or what have you. It seems like everybody has an opinion on this thing, and one of the opinions that really sparked quite a little bit of heat was former WWE star turned daily live internet radio talk show host Taz came out on Monday and basically said that he felt like it was a work. Of course, work is a wrestling term for fixed. And of course, anytime you use the word fixed, mixed martial arts fans are automatically going to get into a defensive stance, and all of the over-tattooed, tap-out, 5-size shirt too tight wearing people are going to go absolutely crazy. And that's exactly what happened. Taz was just inundated with all of this hate tweets and man, it was crazy. But you know, of course, obviously the fight was not fixed. I don't believe that for 1 second. Is there any room in your mind to think that this fight was fixed? There was an enormous shift in the betting lines the day of the fight, so I don't know. What do you think? I mean, I don't think it was fixed. I don't think you do either, but is there anything to be said there? And let me just say this, okay? If you're going to fix a fight, there's got to be an easier way you can take a dive than the amount of punishment she took. And by the way, I'm not saying the fight was fixed. There is no way. That is impossible. I mean, there's just no way. You can't write that. You can't, oh, hey, guess what? Hey, I'm going to come in there and you punch me in the face repeatedly. I want you to have 100% landing on my face as much as you can, okay? And then every time I try to take you down, I want it to not go my way. And then after round one, I'm going to go back to the corner, and I've already set it up. My coach is going to tell me I'm doing a great job. And then when I come out for the second round, I want you to kick me right upside the head, knock me out, and then Dan Henderson my face. I'm not doing that. There's no amount of money you could give me to take that type of punishment. Why would you want to do that?
You know, now.
Well,
yeah, I used to watch Butterbean fights, okay, and you knew, but a lot of Butterbean fights were fixed, man. He'd start, cheering to the crowd, and all of a sudden the other guy would just, lose his defense. His hands would drop down to his knees, and he'd get KO'd, and you'd be like, what in the world did I just watch? It's not, there's easier ways to take a dive. That was, and if people think that fight was fixed, I mean, that's ridiculous. I can't even imagine.
Well, I don't think I can say that there's not an amount out there that would possibly convince me to take 8 minutes of a beating. I'm not willing to make that a statement because there just might be an amount out there that would get me to do that. But to Taz's point, I like Taz. I listen to his show. Of course, I'm a wrestling fan, as most listeners know, and I've been a fan of Taz. And his point was kind of this: he was really taking it from a professional wrestling point of view, where you look at Rousey, who everybody suspected was going to take time off with a movie, possibly making an appearance at WrestleMania, and all of these bunch of things. And so his thought was, like in wrestling, when a champion gets injured or a champion's going to take time off, what do? Well, you take the belt off of him, right? He's got to pass the belt over to somebody else while he's gone, and that was kind of his whole point. And he had a couple of points. I called into his show and discussed it with him on Tuesday. Had a pretty good conversation with him. I put the post on YouTube, but
nice.
Yeah, I mean, there's just no way. There's just no way that the fight was fixed. I mean, it's interesting to speculate, and we've speculated about other fights in the past and just for fun, but man, I just don't see it.
Yeah, I don't either. There's just too much going on. I mean, you'd have to basically just lay down and say, "Hey, step on my face," to throw a fight like that. I mean, and to throw it like that. I mean, there's just got to be an easier way you can get out of that deal, right? I mean, I don't believe it. I don't believe it at all.
Something.
Yeah, I don't believe it at all. And all the haters, come out there and go, oh, Ronda Rousey this. What gets me is all the people that she's beat coming out and talking all the smack. Come on, man.
Oh man, that was.
What? Now you guys are riding the train of the new champ? Seriously? What? Because you couldn't get the job done? That doesn't even make any sense. I don't even get it.
That's pretty rough. So I do think that
you can almost compare her to GSP, and if her mental fortitude is what it's shown to be in the past, she'll just come back better.
Yeah, I want to get to that in a second, but if anybody was happy, as close to being as happy as Holly Holm was on Sunday morning, it was probably Miesha Tate. But everybody coming out and talking about how Betch Correa came out and was talking about how her boxing is bad and blah blah blah. I think you posted an article and had the comment, well, if her boxing is so bad, she sure did knock you out in 15 seconds.
Yeah,
it's just kind of overboard. I mean, these people need to have a little bit more respect. I mean, love Ronda, hate her, don't care about her. Either way, she had a great run as champion, and you have to have some sort of a respect for that.